You can say they go to work in the morning and build a fucking 2-story space shuttle. You have to get other people's opinion. I think the worst kind of person you could be to grow is a person that doesn't take constructive criticism well. Because sometimes people take it way too personal.
Matthew, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm super happy to be here.
I am very honored that you gave us your time, especially with your achievements. So we're just talking about people who follow podcasts, and I'm very happy that you chose my podcast to come on.
Man, I've been following what you're doing, and I think like the production level is very high, and I think the island needed this so much because it's very informative. And it's just really good.
Then we'll have to take this as a compliment and a challenge now, coming from a guy who works for Disney Studios and Marvel Studios. But
I think it's only natural that you always want to better what you're doing. So I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna, just become better and better at what you're doing. So yeah, just give it time.
You're humbling me. So who is Matthew Pulis? Talk me through your humble beginnings and how you got into software. And
man, I can't say it's been an easy one. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but the stuff I went through school and through my professional life set me up to be so good at what I'm doing now. It's almost like you can't even make this stuff up, honestly. So ironically, I never ever really studied software at school. So I went to school for engineering, and I did that for maybe about 7 years. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't regret it at all because I love it. I love the whole concept of engineering, whether it's software engineering, mechanical, aerospace, or marine engineering. I consider myself to be an engineer. So engineers are basically problem solvers, right? You give them a problem, and they're going to create something that's going to fix that problem, like in any kind of engineering. And in some ways, mechanical engineering and software for me, they gel so well together, especially with motion control of what I'm doing now. So yeah, I did engineering for about 7 years, and then my passion was always software. And I remember one day I just sat down and said, I really want to get into software, man. But obviously I had no degrees, I had no certification, no nothing. I just knew how to do it because I spent almost all my free time trying to learn and research software, Looking back at it now, it's so easy these days to learn it because, man, I had to read books to learn how to code. And that's saying something, like these days you can just go online and go on YouTube and just, you could probably start coding in about a week. I set a goal for myself and I said, okay, I want to get a job in software. I knew that I knew how to do it, but my mentality was, you don't have any certification, so nobody's going to hire you. Why would they hire you, when, there's people with degrees coming out of school? And I saw this ad for some web design course, and I said, okay, this might be something, it might get me an in. I'm not really, I didn't know what to do web design. I'm no designer, man. I'm a software engineer. I'm a programmer. Okay, the programming is what I love to do. But in some ways, building user interfaces is programming. For me, I think it's the easiest way to try to get in. So I went into this course, and obviously I was so advanced, it was so boring for me. And my tutor actually realized. So he actually pointed out and said, there's this company that, they're hiring a web designer. And he said, I think you should actually give it a go and try. And if you want, I'll be a reference. So heck, I said, whatever, man, I'll just give it a go. What's the worst thing to happen? They'll say no. So yeah, I applied for this job, and they sent me like a little testing. So they sent me a scenario and said, listen, we want to build this product, give us a design for the interface. And I got shortlisted. And I made the final cut, apparently, and I got a call from Jason McAuliffe. I remember, I said, dear friend, still this day, I probably wouldn't be where I am now without this guy. Got a call from Jason saying, listen, man, I'm sorry to have to inform you, but we gave the design job to somebody else because, it was better. I said, hey, man, I'm not really that surprised. I'm not much of a designer anyway. Like, I wanted the job so I didn't just get an in. so I can then switch into programming. And he's like,
Uh-huh.
as the fact that you're bringing this up now makes me think I was so right about you, because you gave me an impression that you're like so much more technical than what you were saying during the interview. Because we were asking you like design questions, you were responding us with like really technical programming stuff. And it's like, I see a lot of potential in you, so I'm going to give you a chance. Do you want to come in as a junior, software programmer for us? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to fucking come work for you, yeah. So yeah, man, I did that, and
What was the name of the company?
GFI Software.
GFI,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if they're still around. They were bought by an American company. It was
I remember GFI.
It was probably one of the biggest software companies in Malta. It had, I think GFI it was the same. It had humble beginnings and it became so big. But the owner, I think he sold it, and then it was sold again to another company called Aurea Software. It's an American company.
Okay.
But when they took over, it became a little bit robotic. Became a bit of a nightmare to work for. So yeah, I remember a lot
too
of
big for its boost.
Yeah, it's just too structured. I want to say that to be nice. Too structured. So a lot of us basically quit, and at that point, I already had started doing some stuff on the side, and and I just did my own thing.
So for someone that isn't, or maybe they're just starting, what stuff on the side? So what were you doing? So how did you engage into that?
So obviously, you do make friends when you're doing things. When you're doing the thing professionally, you start learning so much. Like on the second or third month that I started doing software, I've basically just doubled my knowledge of how to do stuff. Because obviously, this is not your hobby anymore. This is your manager coming to you with a problem and saying, "Listen, I need this done by next week." So whether you know how to do it or not, you're gonna have to fucking do it.
Yeah.
So
figure it out.
it's trial by fire kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and that's the best way to learn. The best way to learn. So yeah, I started making friends here and there, and obviously I had a lot of friends from my engineering days, and they, most of them knew that I went into software, and building a website here and there, getting the word out. Maybe it's a little bit harder these days, but it's not impossible at all. There's still tons of work.
Is there a heavy demand?
The industry is so big, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. And all this talk about AI replacing programmers, that's never gonna happen, man. It's so.
Why not?
If you used AI to write a piece of software, you'll know, man. It's not good at all. Because what it does, it crawls through thousands and thousands, millions actually, lines of code. Now, whether that code is good or bad, it doesn't care. It thinks that's good, and that's what it'll give you. And most of the time when you ask it to build a fully fledged thing, it won't work. Now, what I would say is it's a really good tool to help you do your job. There's tools like Copilot from GitHub, which is amazing. You basically install it on your machine, and as you're typing out the code, it'll give you code suggestions and completes the code for you. My opinion is you shouldn't be really using those kind of tools if you're starting out, simply because you won't be learning anything using those tools. If you're relying on the tool like that to do your job, then you're not going to learn anything. That's the whole cold hard truth of it.
So should you learn software? So if for the people watching that are not technical and that have zero experience in terms of coding or building anything with software, should they learn? Should they go for it?
If you ask me, man, I think it's the best thing in the world. Obviously, I'm so biased towards it.
A bit.
So, and I really love preaching people to get into the industry because it's so fun. The community is amazing. Like you find people in the office that help you. If you're stuck with something, you'll always find help with anybody.
It's like a community of problem solvers.
It's exactly. I bet it's the same for every industry, kind of. But I've worked in different industries, and it's not really software engineers. I think they're a different breed. Obviously, you'll find the odd one here and there, which is But I think there's such a good community behind it. And again, if you love something like that and you start doing it professionally and you start, hanging out with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's only natural that, your skill set is going to grow, because if I find something out or find a new piece of tech, I'm going to share it with you, and you're going to share it with your friends, and it's only, the sharing of knowledge that makes you a better software engineer. And I think you should. What I don't think you should do is, this is probably going to be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, I don't think you should go to school solely for software. I think you should take up a higher level subject, kind of like computer science, and then just learn how to code on your free time.
Why not? Why not go for software?
I've sat in a lot of interviews on both sides of the interview, and I've interviewed people that came fresh out of school, and I've interviewed people that are self-taught. And most of the time, the people that are self-taught kick the living hell out of the guys that come out of school.
Why do you think that's the case?
It's not the school's fault at all, nor the student. Software moves at such a fast pace, man. Honestly, I like to compare it with medicine, but it's probably worse. I'd like to compare it with medicine, but it's so fast paced. If you stick with what you know in software, by 6 months you're going to be outdated and you're going to fall behind. So it's not like every day you're going to have to fucking, just go onto Reddit and just update yourself. But yeah, every month you should write some, read some tech newspapers and try to keep yourself up to date with it. With that said, I'm not saying that, going to school is bad. I'm saying if you're doing computer science courses, don't just rely on what you're learning, because if you just rely on what you're learning, they obviously don't update their curriculums every year. It's quite impossible. That probably.
Is there an element here? So the difference between someone who is studying it and someone who is pursuing it, which is different. Is there, because there is an element of more curiosity behind the person that's pursuing it?
Exactly. So obviously curiosity is the major driver here. I wouldn't have become an engineer if I wasn't curious. Since I was a kid, if I looked at something, if I looked at a computer, my friends say, we can play a game on that. And I was like, I wonder how that works. It's like the curiosity is a major driver. So what I would say is, if it depends on what kind of software engineer you want to be, obviously. If you want to do like really high level, low system architecture stuff, yeah, of course, you're going to need a computer science degree, 100%. No question about it. You should definitely go for that. But if you just want to be, a web developer, you just want to build simple websites, that'll be a mega waste of time. Honestly, mega waste of time. With that said, obviously degrees do help. I mean, they do. Obviously, this is not me trashing schools. They obviously they help. But if you're somebody that doesn't have time for school, if you're old like me, 32.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'm 34, by the way. I'm not that much older.
You look younger than that, so it's fine. Yeah. So, if you don't have time to go to school, don't fuss, man. There's so many good content out there, online. Just go on Udemy, go on YouTube, buy a course. You can become a really good software engineer in just 2 months, probably even less than that if you put in effort,
On the subject of curiosity, because I'm a big believer in that. I think that
100%.
I've seen, like you, obviously, I've seen people that are very well educated, but unfortunately, that education stifles that person's curiosity, because they think they know, 100%. Because of the ego behind it, they think they've reached a certain level of knowledge that cannot be.
Yeah, and that's the problem with most people coming up with degrees, because they think, I've got a degree now, I'm done.
Yeah.
Which is not the fact. People that are self-taught, they're curious people, because otherwise, why would you put yourself through that?
Yeah.
So you keep on learning. Even me till this day, even after 15 years in the industry now, I still learn, man. I still want to learn stuff. I started learning a new language a couple of weeks ago.
What are you learning?
I'm learning Rust, and it's quite amazing.
What's Rust?
It's basically a brand new. Well, it's not really brand new. For me, it's brand new. It's a low-level language.
Okay.
That is blazing fast, and people are doing some amazing stuff with it. But then again, there's other languages that are coming up. We've got Zig, which is a really, really fast language as well. And
When you say fast, from someone that I have very basic knowledge of software, right? I did some PHP, some HTML. and some C#, and that's my limit.
Let's say we're building the same application and we're going to build a simple API that you request data from it. Okay, same exact application. If you build it with PHP, you'll get, I don't know, 50,000 requests per second on a server. On the same server, same application, same data with Rust, you'll get, I don't know, 200,000 requests.
So it's a more efficient way of coding then.
It's really efficient. Really efficient.
We'll put like what API means on the screen as well. Clearly, just as a side note, because a lot of the I want people that are maybe not technical to also gain something from from this podcast, because you're right. Like the world is moving towards
it's only getting bigger,
software, and we have to.
And even with all these AIs taken over, somebody has to code these AIs, you know? They don't do it themselves, guys.
But I think in about 10, 15 years' time, everyone will need to have a basic knowledge of
100%
of software.
100%.
At least an understanding of how it works.
Yes, 100%. Because these words get thrown out like there's, every day you see, even ads on TV nowadays, like AIs and APIs and websites and whatever, like... even if you're not into this, you should actually know some basic stuff of what it is.
No, I agree. How did you get into Netflix? So how did you go from GFI into
Funny
Netflix?
Story that, with a lot of luck, I must say. So after GFI, I was doing my own thing, and one fine day I was at home, just programming away as we do, and I got a call from my uncle. But my uncle worked in the film industry since I can probably remember, but he does like fabrication and for a special effects group. So got a call from my uncle, and like haven't even spoken to him probably a year or whatever. And he's like, hey, the normal small talk before you get to the actual topic you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what are you doing for work? I'm doing my own thing. He's like, yeah, cool. Do you want to come work for Netflix? I'm like, what? Like, need Netflix? Like, yeah, we're starting up a new project for Netflix and we need a software guy. It's like, okay, but I just build websites. He's like, yeah, but it's good. It's software stuff. You'll be good at it. I know you're good at it. And he's like, just send the CV to this guy. I sent the CV to the guy. The guy calls me up 30 minutes later. He's like, that's a mighty impressive CV you just sent me. There's like, could you back it up? I'm like, just send me a test. So he sends me a test.
What does a test look like?
It varies from company to company, honestly. It depends on the role you're applying for. This role was a bit obscure, if I'm being honest. So I had no idea what's coming my way. So he sent me a Maya file. So Maya is a software that you do 3D modeling in.
Yeah.
So he sent me a Maya file with an object in it. And he's like, I want you to rig up and animate this object programmatically in 3 days. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot. So hung up the call and I'm like, okay, let's get to work. And at that point in my life, I had never touched Maya before, nor have I touched Python language, which is the language that is used to script some stuff into Maya. So I'm like, fuck, I'm really way in over my head with this one. And then I said, like what I said earlier, engineer, problem needs solving.
How hard can it be? Yeah.
I went on to Udemy, I bought a Maya course and I bought a Python course, and I just basically binged the whole lot in one night. And then I woke up the day after and said, okay, let's start doing this. And I actually managed to do it and send it to him like in 2 days. So that's with me learning how to use Maya and learning a new language. Because once you start, the thing is with programming languages, they're kind of all the same, they're structured a little bit differently, but they're basically the same thing.
Once you know one, you can figure out.
Yeah, you can. Once you learn one, low-level language, then it's probably going to be a lot easier for you to learn other new languages. Unless it's some crazy language like Rust. That's a bit of a head fuck, but it's not too bad either. It's not too bad. It's very well structured. But yeah, I managed to do it. Obviously, I wasn't a professional in Maya nor Python, but I managed to do it. And apart from doing it, I went above and beyond. So I really love being proactive. And I think being proactive is what got me my job at GFI. I don't believe in just doing what you are given to do. I think you should go a little bit extra, not too extra, because then you'll just be trying too hard. I think you should always try to do a little bit extra, and that little bit extra goes a long way. Instead of just giving him the flat scene with its only object, I just modeled a 3D scene around it, you know, and just put textures on the thing and animated it and did some camera movements inside Maya. It's stuff that they didn't ask for, but
It's a nice touch.
when the guy called me back, he's like, mate, like, you went above and beyond. Like, this is amazing in 2 days. And I think that's what actually got me the job. It's like, do you want to come have a go? I'm like, yeah, what's the job actually about though? It's like, is it just going to be like Maya stuff? He's like, nah, the Maya stuff was just a test. Like, what am I actually going to be doing? So he replied back. He said, you know the 3D object, 3D modeling? We basically have a real life version of that, which you'll be operating. It was basically like a big hydraulic, we'll put a picture up.
Okay.
I'll send you one. It was big hydraulic gimbal with 6 hydraulic rams, which is basically like a platform that can move in 6 dimensions of freedom.
Okay.
Amazing stuff. And said, this is what you're going to be doing, man.
What was it used for?
Programming. So 6-axis platforms are used for a lot of stuff. So we've put cars on it, so we could move cars. We've put cockpits on it. We've put helicopters. We've put spaceship cockpits on it. It's widely used throughout the industry, simply because of it's so versatile to use. Man, you could use it for anything that moves. We used it like, so we filmed a scene with a car chase, and we put IMUs. It's just an inertia measuring unit, and you basically just measure the G-forces whilst the car is moving, and then we fetch that data from the IMU, and with some clever maths, we can actually translate all that G-force data into the hydraulic gimbal. So then we put the same car on it with a blue screen behind it, and it'll do the same exact moves as if it was moving down the road that there was like.
So it simulates
exactly that.
Awesome.
Exactly that. So it's quite clever. So yeah, I said yes. It took me a while though.
If you said no, that would have been
Funny thing, man. Funny thing. I've always said since I was a kid, I'm like, if I ever get the chance to go abroad and work abroad, I'll just take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But when you're faced with the reality of it and you actually have a chance to do it, I'm like, shit, this is really happening, man. Like, do I really want to leave my family and, just leave my friends? And
when that happened?
I think 27 at that time.
Okay.
At the time, 27, something like that. So yeah, when then it like hits home, But obviously, you say yes. It's Netflix. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
For sure.
You have to say yes. So I said yes, and called them up, and I said, yeah, okay, I'm coming over. Could you send me some, documentation that you guys have of the electronics that you're using? Because obviously, man, I built websites, dude. I didn't build robots. I built robots as a hobby, but using little tiny Arduino boards, not massive hydraulic gimbals. So he sent me the brand of the controllers they're using, and it was all foreign to me, like super foreign. And I had a flight going in on Sunday. I started work on Monday. Now, I'm the kind of guy that tries to go in guns blazing, kind of. So I was like really worried that like I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna look like a headless chicken running around knowing nothing about what I'm doing. And this is Netflix. This is the major league, man. So I had to go in there and actually know my stuff. So I basically downloaded all of the documentation for this freaking thing and all of the models they were using. And I just sat there on the plane just reading and sifting through pages and pages of documentation, and learning their own language. They have their own weird version of the BASIC language. It's called Trio BASIC.
And is it just specific?
It's just specifically for this brand of motion controller. So yeah, I basically just read and sifted through that, and I still wasn't ready for it. Of course I wasn't. But, I went there and it's like, obviously you're going to go through a learning phase, and we're not expecting much from you. Just sit back, try to absorb as much knowledge as you can. We got an expert in from Trio, to teach you. And we started doing it. And 2 weeks into it, I'm watching this guy, and I'm watching how he codes and stuff. It's like, pretty sure that can be better. But obviously I'm the new guy here. I can't really say shit, man. Like, and he got stuck on an issue. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like some sort of a jittery thing. And I was pretty sure how to solve it. I wasn't sure, but I had an idea how to solve it. And whilst I was on my own, I actually gave it a go, and it worked.
Okay.
And he came in and it's like, oh, how is it smooth? And I told him, I might have edited your code a little bit. And he's like, that's amazing, man. Like, why didn't you say that before? It's like, I was afraid to, kind of.
Yeah.
And that just snowballed from there, man. Like, this expert was contracted to stay for about 8 weeks, and he only stayed for 4, because by the 4th week I actually started teaching him how to do it.
It was very good.
And like I get the shivers even talking about it, because I don't understand how that happened. It gelled so much, and this goes back to what I said in the beginning. My love for mechanical engineering and my love for software on this job, it's like the perfect combination. Because sometimes you'll get a mechanical engineer which knows mechanical engineering, and sometimes you'll get good software engineers. But to get a good mix of both, it's quite hard. And this is what I mean. Like, I had good circumstances in my life that allows me to really excel at this job, because I knew what was happening is I knew that the mechanical part of the rig we were doing expected a specific, response from the software, which it wasn't getting, because I knew how the mechanical part works. So then I knew how to code the software bit to make it work, work smoothly. And yeah, it just snowballed from there, man. And we did a film with George Clooney. It's called The Midnight Sky. That was my first ever film.
Okay.
And it was so amazing.
Did you actually meet him?
Yeah, I actually did, man.
What was it like meeting?
It was good, man. I actually was so nervous, bro. Oh man.
Why? It's only George Clooney, man.
Yeah, because just this random dude from Malta, just meeting one of the biggest stars ever, and I'm doing his film. And I spoke to my supervisor, and he's like, listen, man, true stuff, I've never spoken to a celebrity before. Like, how do I talk to this guy? He's like, he laughed at me. And he said, he's just a normal guy, man. Like, chill, So I went into this room, like, hi, Mr. Clooney. He's like, screw that, man. Just call me George. And from that on, like, just a cool dude, man, honestly. Really cool dude. Obviously, we didn't have tea together, but we spoke every now and again.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you got to go to your phone?
It was fine. No.
Can you call Mr. Clooney now?
No. I probably wouldn't even know I had, if I'm being honest. No.
That's really
awesome. We never got
man.
to that, but maybe someday.
So really interesting background. You're obviously a very technical guy. You know your stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it as non-geeky as possible.
No, that's good. It's very. Yeah. I'm interested. I've tried not to talk because you're on a roll in terms of what you're good at. And I'm just in awe of your dedication towards it. Like, I can see the passion when you're talking.
Oh man, I love it so much. You have no idea.
It's just something you obviously live and breathe, and that's such a good. It's such a good thing to have. And it's such a rare thing to have. Like, not everyone has that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that. I don't think. I'm trying to get it with this podcast, because this is what I like to do. Because I like to hash ideas out and build up on them and learn and as you said as well, just keep learning, like not stopping, not going into your comfort zone. So, good for you. I'm really, really happy for what you've achieved and all that. And, getting into Netflix at 27 years old, is it the same? Were you like a motion control guy when you started with Netflix?
Yeah, it's always been motion control, and now I'm probably the guy for motion control.
Really?
Yeah, it's well, in my team anyway. Like,
okay,
I did some pretty amazing stuff since I've been there. Because the thing is, motion control was fairly new. It wasn't fairly new, but they didn't really put a lot of effort into the software, so they had a lot of failures.
Right.
So then when I came in, I went in with a software mindset, They haven't even heard about unit testing. What the hell's a unit test,
What is unit test?
It's basically writing it's when you have a piece of software, you write another tiny piece of software that runs that other piece of software, and this software knows what response it's supposed to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
if this doesn't get the response it's programmed to receive, then it'll say, okay, there's an issue with this piece of code.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you've got like megaliths of, of softwares, you've got loads of files, loads of classes, loads of functions, and you've got loads of developers working on the same code base. This guy might work on this file and then break something onto the other file because there's certain functions that are called from that one.
Okay.
So if you do unit testing and you run unit testing, that always tests all of your little bits of code, and most of the time you'll catch the errors before you deploy them production.
So it
It's not a fail-safe, foolproof plan,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately there's a lot of companies that don't invest the time into it because it is, very time heavy to,
Okay.
build the actual software and then build unit tests for the software, and then you update the software and you have to update the unit tests, and you can see where this is going. You need a lot of engineering time to actually do it. So most of the time, unfortunately, software companies don't do it. But for my team, for a small team that's doing a specific motion control thing, we test
It's
and
beneficial.
test and even more testing, man, because your shit has to work, dude. You can't
I
get
think
on
you were
set.
saying before we came in, right?
You can't get on set and, having your rig be the star of the show and having it not work. And then you've got the director and about 300 other people on set, whether it's camera crew and stunts and costume, and everybody's waiting on you, the little geek on your fucking laptop, and trying to fix stuff. So no. I introduced a really strict policy of testing and failure scenarios. We try to break the thing.
Yeah.
And, and you have to keep in mind, you have to keep this thing safe. You're going to have, really big stars on your really dangerous hydraulic rig flow. So the pressure is really high.
Yeah.
It has to work, and it has to work safely. So safety is a really major factor into what we do. It's really big. There was an accident a couple of years back when they filming the most recent Star Wars films.
Which one was it?
There was I think it was the first one.
Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Not that I know. I just
So,
randomly.
Um,
Not that I'm a massive.
I think
Star
it's the
Wars
one. I'm not really sure. So yeah, there was this hydraulic door, and there was this shot with Harrison Ford, and he went through it, and he went through it, and he basically fucked up the scene, and he just turned around and walked back into the door. And the guy operating the door, or whatever happened, I'm not really sure on the details. Basically, in the end, the door came down and caught Harrison Ford and snapped his leg off. Well, it just broke his leg. So there's a lot of safety, and especially from that specific episode. Then now we have to do doors as if like we're building doors for Fort Knox, man. They have to be like super safe, with
I
like,
mean, you can
touch
understand it,
sensitivity stuff, and yeah.
Because
And
if someone
it's
like Harrison
understandable.
Ford
Yeah.
breaks their leg, then
It's a big deal, man.
standstill,
Yeah, and a
bro.
big deal. It's a big deal. So, and obviously, you would never want you never want to see any guy,
Yeah.
whether it's Harrison Ford or any other person, get hurt on any of your rigs.
No, that's true.
That'll hurt so much, So you don't want anybody to get hurt.
What's it like? So, not really thinking about the software aspect, but more around the work environment aspect. So, what's it like working for a conglomerate or a company like Netflix in terms of the people that are giving you the deadlines, the community around you, the culture?
It's a good kind of busy. It's a really good kind of busy. It's not lost on me how lucky I am to be working in such a professional environment, and you get to work with amazing people, man. And then these people, I mean, what I do is amazing. For me, it's just normal stuff, but from what I hear, people think it's amazing. But for me, man, what other people do now, that is amazing. It's just a good vibe, honestly.
Mhm.
It's you feel like you're this little tiny cog in this massive machine, yeah, with a lot of people collectively working together to build something, to build this amazing movie that's going to be enjoyed by millions of people around the world. And I get the shivers even talking about it because it's such a great feeling that you can't really explain it. I know my part is probably tiny in it, but I'm so glad that I'm in it. The environment is just amazing. People are so friendly, so helpful. Deadlines are tight, but I was never in it for the easy anyway. It's the stress levels are high. There's a lot at stake, but I kind of love it, man. I just love the challenge of it. I love the challenge. Sometimes they give us a lot of time to build stuff. They plan, months ahead for this really big scene with a lot of robotics in it. But sometimes you get the scenarios where, listen, we've got a free day. We can't shoot on that set. We're going to shoot on the other set. So can you build us this in a week? And then, then the head scratching starts to kick in. It's like, you can, but man, you have to give us time to test this freaking thing, like, especially if it's a really dangerous one. You can't cut corners. And
no, you can't.
But
Safety.
at the same time, you want to please the producers. You want to please the higher ups. So we try to do our best to do it as fast and as safely as possible. And I'm lucky enough to say that I've never missed any deadline. So
it's good.
Yeah, it's good. But going back to your question, it's just nice, man. It's so nice to be working in that environment.
I guess it's like you don't really get to work for Netflix unless you're really dedicated and love the work, right?
Obviously, getting there is one thing. Staying there is another.
Why?
So, man, if you're not good at it, then you're gone. It's so film is such a tight niche that if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna be gone. So, yeah, getting there was something. Staying there, I actually had to prove my worth to stay there, and I'm very fortunate to have done that on a couple of occasions. And I don't feel that pressure anymore now to prove myself, kind of, because I did already, but I still strive to anyway. I still do the best I can. To do the best work I can.
You're just more confident in your ability.
Yeah, I'm super confident now, and I know exactly what people expect of me. I just love the whole process of talking to the art directors and then just going through the design phase where we design the rigs with our really, really talented designers on our SFX crew and our really insanely talented fabricators in the workshop. It's, I just love the whole process of it, man.
So how did you go then from Netflix?
So here's the thing in working with film. You kind of tend to stay with one crew. So you're basically subcontracted with these guys. You're not really like you're contracted with them for that film. When that film's over, then you move on to another project. Okay. And the crew I was working with, they got awarded a film with Marvel, and I remember this was COVID times. So yeah, during COVID times, everything shut down. We've just finished another project and everything shut down. And I think about 6 months passed. I was in Malta for like 6 months. And I got a call from my special effects supervisor. He's like, we've got a Marvel film. Do you want to come? Like, fuck, yeah, I want to come. Yeah, that was the Marvels. It's not out yet, so I can't really say much about it because the NDAs, man, they make you sign.
Yeah,
they're like yay big, though. Like insane stuff.
So what happens in the Marvels, Matt?
Yeah, no chance. I left my job.
So the Marvels is the one where, and I watched it.
It's basically Captain Marvel.
It's Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and the other one that does the force fields.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're all like switching bodies.
Yep, exactly. That's the one.
I like Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
series.
I had a ton of fun doing that one. I'm telling you. We had so many robotics on it, and I've learned so much on it as well, because we built a spaceship set, and it had all these robotic shelves and all these robotic doors and stuff, and obviously me being me, having just a button to operate all this stuff doesn't really fly. So I ended up going the extra mile again and built like a wireless software interface, and it actually felt like you're operating this spaceship, like an actual production interface. I meant to make it look like that, like the inner geek came out, and it didn't only look good, it actually functioned. So you pressed buttons and all the spaceship stuff started flying, and it was insane. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Really good.
Did you do any other Marvel, or because then you moved into, now you're
so basically
primarily with Disney,
obviously
right?
Disney owns Marvel now, so all the projects we do for Marvel, they're basically technically Disney. So we did Craven the Hunter.
Okay,
it's coming out soon.
It's not out yet, eh?
Yeah, no, it's coming out soon. We did Craven the Hunter. Loads of fun on Craven. Again, not out, can't really go into technicals. But yeah, we did we did Craven, and then we did the Acolyte. It's a Star Wars universe series. Very nice, very nice.
Can't wait for
All the Star Wars guys, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, me first.
Yeah.
Can I get the first copy of it, a DVD or something?
I don't know, man. It's probably gonna be just Disney Plus. You know?
Oh yes, right.
Yeah, probably gonna be Disney Plus. Yeah, the good old.
I still need to start Ahsoka. Actually, I've not seen any of it yet. But I usually like tend to wait until the whole
Yeah.
series is released, like the season's released, and then just binge watch.
If I'm being completely honest, I'm not much of a Star Wars guy, and like, it's yeah.
Do you think that helps when you are working? Because I would totally geek out. I would probably spend more time trying to.
I do geek out a lot, and I speak to friends of mine who are actually really massive Star Wars nerds, and they start geeking out on me. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. He's like, you're working with the guys, man.
Yeah.
You should know this stuff. He's like, yeah, I don't need to know this stuff, man. But yeah,
does it help you if you don't know that stuff?
I don't think so. So every project is, every project is unique. You don't really have to know. Obviously, we do get the scripts. We read the scripts and we get the context from the scripts. And whatever is not on the scripts, we just speak with the director, or the writers or the art directors, and just get more context from them of what's happening inside the scene. But no, I don't think having prior knowledge to any sequels or prequels really helps you with the job.
I guess for you, it's as long as you're building whatever.
Obviously, it does kind of, because obviously, like when you're on set and you see all these amazing, man, the animatronic costumes they build, it's just amazing, man. Like, so I walked into a set and I saw a preview of a scene that was being shot, and I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. There was this alien superimposed, or what I thought was superimposed onto the screen. I thought, they're doing live CGI. It's like, oh, that's not CGI, mate. Look at there. So they had this like animatronic head put on the actor, and it looked so real. It was insane. And then they have like this puppeteer, which is controlling the head mechanically, moving the eyes, the ears as the actor's talking. Just amazing, the stuff they do. It's absolutely just mesmerizing to watch. And this is what I mean about working with such professionals. It's, yeah.
If we talk about physically, right? Like, so you as a person being there. So how long would you typically spend on a day?
So
during filming.
So our contract is 12-hour days, Monday to Friday. That's how we work. But most of the times you'll end up working more than that. Sometimes you work a little bit less. But when you're shooting, it's 100% 12-hour minimum.
Yeah. Does that take a toll on you, on your body, like physically or mentally?
You have no idea, dude. You have no idea. So it does get a little bit taxing sometimes. It does. It's mentally draining, and the hours are very, very long.
What kind of side effects have you felt?
Just I don't really feel like that much affected, but general tiredness.
Okay.
When we did Craven, man, we were filming in like this remote area in the UK, which was simulating some parts of Africa, because and they had lions in the scene or whatever. And obviously we had to work hard to install these rigs on uneven ground, and we were pulling really long hours, like 16-hour days. You go to the hotel, you sleep for maybe about 3 hours, and you go back to work, and that was hard, man. That was hard. But by the end of it, we came out so proud of what they had achieved, because the harder you work and then you see the result, and it came out so good. All that, all the tiredness and all those hours and how much you complained, that just goes away, man, honestly. So yeah, it does get, hard sometimes with the hours and stuff. And sometimes you have to shift into late night hours because you can't do it with, we have to work on a set, and they're shooting on that set. So you have to work late at night after the shoot crew has left, so that like really mixes up your whole sleeping routine and stuff. Yeah, I think toll wise, man, that's it. And also I find it's like really hard to hold relationships in this job, simply because, you're moving all the time, here and there, and moving to location to location. And for me especially, moving between here and Malta, the UK and Malta, the UK and Malta, it's for me personally, I just find it hard to just, I don't have time to just focus on relationships. That's the only toll, maybe.
Do you think that will ever change for you then?
Probably. I mean, the higher up the ladder I climb, I guess, the kind of less work you'd be doing. Because even now with my team, I don't do a lot of software engineering. I still do. But I don't do as much as I used to. Actually, sometimes I do a lot more software than I do, electrical engineering and stuff, because we have really talented electrical engineers. So they basically handle, sometimes they handle building all of the electrical stuff and I handle the software stuff, and sometimes it's the other way around. So
that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's quite nice, man. But yeah, as far as once you see the finished project, you just
then you're happy.
Yeah, you just forget all about it, man. Yeah.
So you talked about obviously coming back home and going there and all that. So do you ever miss home while you're there?
Oh, man.
You're working abroad?
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. My family, my little nephews, man. It's not easy sometimes. It's not. But, then you get the bigger picture. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing something big. Because when the day comes that I do come home, I want to come back and my nephews will look up to me and say, "Oh, man, my uncle worked in fucking Marvel movies, man." So, but I do feel guilty sometimes that I'm missing out on so much, of their lives. And yeah.
Your nephews, yeah.
Yeah. I've got 2 little nephews.
Okay.
My cousin's got 2 little kids, which I love dearly as well. And yeah, you just miss them, man. You just miss them. But yeah, like I said, bigger picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, but everything in life, it's got its ups and downs, sacrifices and cons and pros. And yeah, that's the only thing I think, because otherwise living in the UK, weather's pretty shit.
Whereabouts do you stay?
I'm in Staines at the moment. I was living in Staines,
that's,
where Ali G. Yeah. I actually have a picture right in front of the courthouse where Ali G was tied up to the fence.
I remember that.
So funny.
That's such a good film.
So, man, he's a good
film. Ali G in the house.
Genius. See, that guy is like really clever.
Yeah, he is,
People look at him and think he's like this idiot. That just thought of the stuff and just got lucky. That guy is like educated, bro.
I saw a clip today. Yeah, he's very, very, very educated.
Insane, man. I'd love to meet him one day. I've met a lot of actors, but he's probably the one I want to really read him.
And he's like peak method acting as well. He just doesn't get out of character.
Yeah, 100%. He's in character all the time. Yeah. Even when he's finished the film, man, he's still going and doing characters. I remember one time he was doing the Golden Globes. He was presenting a Golden Globe to somebody.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a Golden Globe or an Oscar or something like that. And they were strict with him. He's like, there's no method acting, you have to be Sacha Baron Cohen. And the fucking guy snuck an Ali G costume, in his wife's bra and stuff, and he actually managed to pull it off. And he dressed up as Ali G 2 minutes before he went on, and he just pulled it off.
He did the same.
He's crazy.
Didn't he pour, when he did The Dictator, didn't he pour like a jar of ashes?
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest or something on his suit.
He was
and you
pissed.
could tell
he was really pissed, I mean, imagine you're at the red carpet event and you're full of fake dead man ashes. I'd be slightly pissed. But then again, it's Sacha Baron Cohen.
My goal in life is to get to the do not give a fuckness that Sacha Baron Cohen has.
I mean, yeah,
it's insane.
Right? Yeah, he's really cool.
But no, he's
clever guy.
Very
clever guy.
But yes, okay. So Staines. So where's that is?
I think it's southwest London. Southwest London. It's about an hour and a quarter train ride away from the center of London.
Okay,
so it's not too far away. It's a nice little area. We've got a house that overlooks the Thames River.
Do you rent it or do you?
Yeah, just rent. It's quite expensive, I must say. Rent is probably the biggest expense I have in the UK. It's insane. You get like a 1-bedroom flat for like 1,200, which is
especially
insane, dude.
For sure,
insane. But it's a lovely area. I just love the UK.
I love the UK as well.
I've made so much friends there, and I just feel so at home when I go there. When I went there first time, I felt a bit like an imposter. Kind of like, there's this mentality here in Malta, especially, man, that, you know, people don't kind of like, you know, foreigners that much. Well, everybody, obviously, but, you know, there was this mentality where I was going to go there and, you know, people are just going to say, who's the fuck is this foreigner taking up another British guy's job? But
it's different, huh?
it was, I couldn't be so wrong, man. I went there on the first day. The first thing I saw inside the cafeteria is a big old fucking banner saying, welcome, I love Malta.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that just made me say, oh, man, these guys, like, these are, like, the best guys ever.
We go to the UK twice, even 3 times. I mean, this year, my partner has been 5 times, and I've been there, I don't know, I forgot, like twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I love it. Every time I go there, it's such a different lifestyle. Everyone's more relaxed.
The nature, dude.
I think, like the level of nature is just insane. I think that people are generally, without taking a dump on Malta too much, but people are generally more educated, like general public is
definitely in the driving area.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh my!
I was gonna mention
bro.
driving.
Like I can't even
people use
count the times I was
indicators.
gonna get murdered on the street here, man.
People
Just
use
hit by
indicators. They wait in line. They don't skip.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you'll find that odd ones here and there, but yeah, in general, I'd say it's a lot more ordered. But for me, what gets me, you know, what gets to me is like waking up in the morning, just going for a jog, and you know, like 2 minutes, you're in nature
forest,
and in forests, and it's just wow.
Seeing squirrels and rabbits.
Oh man, yeah,
It's
it's just wow, man, and it's nice in winter, especially nice in spring, and the summers there actually gotten really, really good nowadays.
I agree.
The weather has been a lot better these past couple of years. I don't know what that's up with that,
It's
but hey,
probably climate change.
we'll live with it. Yeah, it's been sunny, man. You know, weather, you know, temperature goes up to like 26, 27 in the summer. The sea is still cold as shit, though. I went to swim at Brighton because it's the Atlantic Ocean. You forget that.
You go now.
You know, and you go there and it's hot as fuck, and you jump in and the sea is like freezing, dude. So, sea's pretty cold. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely place. And you could always like take the overnight train, go to Scotland, and
That's it, right? It's
wow,
just
dude, like
the
wow, that's amazing.
space is something that
It's in Malta, obviously, for what we are here, we've got like a lot of everything, man. We've got a little bit of everything,
that's true.
you know. But there you could just travel, you could just go places and go to like, you know.
Something I noticed from the UK is as well compared to Malta is that the sky feels bigger.
Yeah,
the buildings
I
are
do get
much
that
lower,
sense as
right?
well. Yeah,
Because in Malta you have high rise, but not high rise, but they're 3, 4, 5 story buildings.
yeah.
So flat.
yeah.
But then you go into the UK and they're all like just flat, and you're driving and you just
I think that's all due to the building. But obviously, like you can't, if you're like in a 2-story residential area, you can't just go up and demolish and build a fucking 5-story block of flats.
They have that space that we don't have.
You know, yeah, exactly that.
But no, I love the UK, and I would. It's something. I think it's if somebody's never been, not to the UK, but if somebody's always been in Malta and hasn't started traveling much yet, or stayed for a long, extended period of time in another country, that they don't realize the difference in lifestyle. And
100%.
people take it easier in the UK as well. Like the way they behave, they're less stressed. And they can have the same stressful jobs and all that.
Don't get me wrong, man. It's not all perfect.
Oh no, there are.
There's obviously they've got their own issues to deal with, but I think in general, quality of life is probably a little bit better.
I think so as well.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit better. The air is fresher as well.
And to be honest, like even cost of living is probably cheaper to buy groceries.
Food is definitely cheaper in the UK, bro. Like Malta's getting pretty expensive nowadays.
That's true.
That's just the cost of progress.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
But
Let's talk about that
obviously-
for a bit. Let's talk about Malta's progress. I've never actually had the opportunity to talk about it in another podcast,
Yeah.
in any of the other podcast episodes. Not that I've been on other podcasts. I'm not
I think
that famous. But
regarding the film industry,
let's start with that.
it's moving in a really, really good direction.
Do you talk about like local, local productions,
Yeah.
or people coming to film in Malta?
So obviously local productions have never stopped here. They've always been good and they've always been strong and they've always kept it going. But that's not where the money really comes from.
Yeah.
The money comes from, foreign productions and good productions, massive productions like the Apple series they've just shot here. Films like Gladiator, You know,
What Apple series?
they shot Foundation. It's an Apple TV series. They
Okay.
shot it here in 2021.
Yeah, okay, I think I know which one.
It was good. I worked on a series for a bit in Malta. It was Dispute. It's really good as well. So yeah, foreign productions is where the money really comes from. Okay, so they, because these guys not only get their crews, their actors, they're making money here. They're spending it here.
Yeah.
They're renting hotels, renting houses. So they're spending a lot of money into materials to build the sets. So it's a really, really good for the economy that we attract, foreign productions to Malta. Unfortunately, the facilities weren't really up to par. But now
What do you mean?
there wasn't really proper workshops. There was no stages,
Okay.
proper stages. Malta's strength was always the water tanks at the Malta Film Studios, because you get the best weather here in Malta, obviously, yeah?
Yeah.
So, but nowadays, that can easily be done with CGI, dude. You know, it's just the sky. It's just a blue freaking sky, yeah? Blue screen and an indoor water set. Easy. You can simulate it. But obviously, nothing beats the real thing, yeah? So,
And
yeah.
it's cheaper, I think. As well.
Yeah, probably cheaper. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. So now they're like heavily investing into the Malta Film Studios. I was lucky enough to get invited to tour their studios recently, and I absolutely loved what we're doing here in Malta. They seem to be finally ramping up, seriousness. When
It shows, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of investment happening.
there's a lot of ramping up in, because obviously it's only natural. I mean, film is the most consumed form of entertainment, all around the world. It's not just film, and we're talking TV, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Video is the most consumed form of entertainment, period. Like there's nothing else, So it's only natural that we try to invest in what's popular, and I think we're heading in a really good direction.
You say films getting popular. So I feel that Netflix, platforms like Netflix, these subscription platforms, Disney Plus and all that are just killing normal TV. Like I haven't had a TV, as in like what do you call it, like a TV supplier? where
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
switching
like
channels.
a cable.
Like I haven't had
Yeah.
cable for like a good like 7 years now.
No, I know.
I just use Netflix. I subscribe to Netflix, Disney Plus, and I've got Amazon Prime Video. Because Prime Video has some really good shows on it, like especially like like the animated Invincible, and they've got Vox Machina, which are really cool. Like I enjoy watching them. Do you think that? So in my opinion, they're already killing cable watching.
I think in some ways, I think you're right.
Are they also killing cinema? Like people going into the cinema?
No, statistically, bro, it's actually helping.
Really?
I've just spoken about this to Alan Kassar, a good friend of mine from the Malta Film Studios,
Okay.
and we were speaking about the exact same thing. It's actually helping, man, because especially like take the Marvel stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
So they release series on Disney Plus. Then they release films related to those series, So people go watch that stuff and they say, oh man, this was so much fun. We'll come back to the cinema again to watch other stuff.
It's like Loki into Ant-Man.
Statistically, now cinema's gotten even more popular, and even much so, maybe not as much before COVID, but after COVID, where people missed so much, just getting out of the fucking house and just going places, that cinema actually exploded in popularity, and they are making the biggest numbers ever in cinema nowadays.
I mean, yeah.
So I think it goes hand in hand. They did do some experiments where they release on cinema and then just put it on the platform, just
Straight away.
a couple months, after its release, which is doing really well, I think. And I think, obviously, not everybody's lucky to have a really good home cinema setup, Not actually a cinema, but a really nice screen, really nice sound. So just going to the cinema, I mean, I still go to the cinema maybe once a month, man. Like,
Really?
I love going to the cinema, dude. Like, I watch almost everything that comes out, but...
I mean, it's part of the job, I guess.
Yeah.
It's you like learning.
Funnily enough, man, working in film, it's the one drawback about it. I tend to not enjoy films as much.
Because you're probably looking more around the back.
Yeah.
I
I'm
see what
probably not fun to fucking watch a film with anymore either, because I just keep pointing out the fake shit. That's it.
It's the same in for me, for example, in gaming, I feel that, right? So you know me obviously
Yeah.
with gaming as well, and I've been competitively gaming for a long
Yeah.
time. So I look at a game and I don't look at it from that's nice graphics.
You look at
and
it from a
like,
technical.
how am
point
I
of view.
gonna how am I gonna fuck the mechanic as quickly
Yeah.
as possible to
Yeah.
like, get the win and finish the game?
For
so
me
fast.
nowadays, it's like, man, I can spot a fake fire like there's no
Yeah.
tomorrow, dude.
Straight
Like,
away.
honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes away a bit of the fun. What I did to fix that is I'm just watching old movies, dude. I'm watching old movies where nothing was faked, you know?
What's your favorite old movie?
Oh man, definitely probably Rambo.
Rambo.
The Rambo
Why is that?
series, dude. It's just nice, man. You know? Decent acting and the practical effects just hold up, you know. All the old Terminators are good. Yeah, I just been turning into, you know, just any old movies really, even like fucking black and white ones sometimes.
I mean, there are
You
some
know,
really
Michael
good ones.
Keaton was nice, man.
I tend to gravitate as I grow older. I tend to gravitate more in films where the script is really strong.
Yeah.
So like most recently, I've obsessed on The Gentleman,
Oh,
which is
man.
Guy Ritchie, and
Yeah,
I've watched
yeah.
that 4 times or something.
Yeah,
like
that's so good.
that. And it's got such a good script, and it doesn't have special effects. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they've done some form of
Yeah.
special effects, but it has some really, really, really good scene transitions. You know, Hugh Grant is amazing in it. Like he's such a good
yeah.
comedic relief in each scene.
I think in some way modern movies actually ruined movies, kind of, because you don't get like the mid-budget movies you get
Yeah.
in the 90s, you know. Nowadays it's either a super low budget film or it's either a really high budget film. If it's in the middle, then people don't really appreciate it as much, you know.
It's like I think Marvel has a lot to do with that because
Oh, yeah,
Marvel has
100%.
upped the game
Yeah.
in
Definitely.
terms of
Definitely,
the
dude.
production. Of it.
Definitely.
To the point that it's upped the game so much that when Marvel and
Too much.
we can cut this out if you think that you can't say it, but when you then it's upped the game so much that when they released series like She-Hulk,
Yeah.
which did really really bad because let's face it, the script wasn't great.
Oh man, it sucks.
CGI was
100%.
horrible, that it kind of backfired on them because they had like really good series. You know, they had WandaVision.
It had a good
Loki
productions,
was
yeah.
insane.
Oh man, Loki.
WandaVision
Season 2's
was
coming
great.
out soon.
Yeah,
by the way.
no, it's come out. I've watched the first episode today actually.
Has it really?
Yeah,
Oh, man,
there's 2 episodes up. But they did so well, and then they had I think the first series they released was Captain America, but with the new Captain America, right?
Yeah.
Which was good. But
Yeah.
then WandaVision like really took it to new heights,
Yeah.
and then Loki kept
I was
it
actually
there.
so skeptical about WandaVision, but
It was so
WandaVision.
so good.
watch WandaVision. It's really good.
It's amazing. But like it's become that they were backing. They invested so much money because Phase 1 of Marvel did so well, right?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
you know
We're
starting
now
with Iron
stepping
Man
into
and then finishing
phase
in-
2, and
Yeah.
some pretty big stuff is coming.
It's
our way.
it's huge, right?
Yeah.
So they up the game so much that it's even hard for them to keep up with the standard
Oh,
they put up,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're releasing so many.
That's why phase
things
2 is going to be
parallel.
so much different because
Yeah.
shit was getting stale, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, how many superheroes beating
no,
up
that's true.
fucking supervillains am I going to see, man? Just, you know, give me something new,
That's true.
please.
But they built such a good universe now that
Oh, yeah.
everything's
Yeah.
interconnected, which is,
Yeah.
I think that's something that DC struggled
Yeah.
with because DC had so many different
Yeah.
productions by so many different studios that it was really just hard to keep the storyline, right? Because you had
100%.
Superman's done so
They had a
well.
lot of changes, a lot of script changes, a lot of
I think
directors.
James Gunn will bring some order now that he moved with DC. But yeah, so looking forward to that because I do like the DC universe. I've just never really.
Yeah, I think
so much
their
more fun.
movies have never really took off. You know, he hit some home runs with Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League.
Yeah,
that was
good.
pretty good. You know,
That
but
Batman.
other than that, Batman, yeah,
Joker
all
was
the Joker was really good.
But their series did really well. I mean, they had the Flash.
Their
was
series
really well.
do really well,
Yeah.
but their movies suck, dude. Like I don't know what it
It's
is
because
about
it's
them.
not the same. It's because it's not under the same umbrella. It's like
Probably, man.
it's like Spider-Man, right? It's like Spider-Man for Marvel struggles because it's between Sony and Marvel. And luckily, they managed to get.
Craven was a Sony thing as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
But I think they still have some form of partnership with Marvel.
Yeah. It's basically Sony produce it, licensed by Marvel. That's how it works.
That's what.
Even Venom, I think, was a Sony one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. Venom didn't do so well. The second one didn't do so
I
well.
actually loved Venom, but yeah, it didn't do so
First
well.
one was also even
Yeah.
the second.
Oh, the second one was actually a bit terrible, yeah.
The second one was.
It was so weird.
Woody Harrelson.
Just spat in his mouth and just weird. Yeah, just weird.
Yeah. Well, the third one is going to come out, for
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah, that's probably going to be good as well.
I hope so. I like Venom. Venom was one of my favorite
it's a good
baddies
one.
growing up. I used to love anything
Yeah.
Venom.
I just love the whole anti-hero movie concept, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
It's trying to refresh it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. And they've got some big names in it, so I don't see why it would do badly. They really need to integrate it in the Marvel universe, though. Like, that's the thing, right? When the Marvel universe at this point for me is too big to fail.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have a single point of failure. It's not like DC, right? Where you had the Flash, which
Yeah.
tanked.
It's probably gotten too big, actually, now, you know?
Marvel.
Yeah, it's
It's
like,
its own little.
wow. Imagine having to start from the beginning, having watched none of it.
Yeah. Listen, I did that. When Disney Plus came out in Malta, I had been trying to get Disney Plus for
Crazy,
ages,
right?
like with VPNs and everything. I couldn't manage. But when Disney Plus released in Malta, the first thing I did was, the first month was just watch all of the Marvel movies again,
Yeah.
just to catch up, right, and watch all the Thor films and all that. It was awesome. But this was before this phase, the series, phase 2 or whatever started coming out. So, I can only imagine someone who's never watched any of that.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Crazy.
take forever.
Crazy.
Yeah. Who have you met? So how many celebrities have you spoken to? Which I don't think you can count.
I don't think I've kept count.
Okay. So let's try and ask weird questions. Okay. So nicest celebrity you've ever met?
Definitely Paul Rudd.
Oh, you told me this. Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Why is that?
It's just a generally nice guy, man. Like, so I met Paul inside a studio. He wasn't even on my production. He was just randomly, you know, walking on the sidewalk inside the studio. And I don't know what came over me, man. Like, I just fanboyed out and said, "Oh man, hey Paul," as if I knew him for fucking ages, dude. And he just waved back and just came over and just spoke to me. I told him like I'm working on this Marvel thing. He's like, "Oh man, that's so fucking cool. You know, we're shooting that man here." It's like, yeah, I know.
Which Ant-Man was he shooting? The first one? Or?
I think it's the last one.
Oh, okay.
Quantumania. is it?
Quantumania.
Yeah.
That was a good.
Yeah.
That was actually that. It didn't get bad rep, but it didn't get good enough rep as it should have, because it came off the back of like back-to-back tanked.
Yeah.
Like She-Hulk and something else, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a shame because it was a really good film.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, man. Sometimes it
This
doesn't.
is just
You know,
the way of
there's
doing it.
so films I found out are not actually, you know, there's a lot of planning that goes into when the thing's actually released.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so sometimes they even release them intentionally with other films just to compete directly with them. Have you ever noticed that sometimes there's a film that comes out and at the same time there's another film exactly like it
like
from another studio?
Barbie and Oppenheimer.
That
But
and
they're not alike at all.
not like at all. Like so recently this whole murder mystery
Yeah.
you know, concept. Like there are tons of murder mystery films, and sometimes they just come out together just to compete with each other, you know.
It's insane, right?
But yeah, mentioning Oppenheimer, amazing.
I've not watched it yet. I've watched Barbie on release day because
I haven't watched Barbie,
I
but Oppenheimer is probably the best cinematic experience
Really?
I've had.
I need to watch
recently.
it now.
If you're a geek like me and love physics especially,
Yeah.
watch Oppenheimer. It's really good.
All right. So Paul Rudd was
Yeah.
the nicest. Who was the?
God, please don't say who was the worst.
I'm not gonna say that. Okay. Let me. All right. Shit. I don't have a question now.
Please from there. Yeah.
Paul Rudd was the nicest. Who was the person you got the most FaceTime with?
That's a good question. The most FaceTime? It's probably Miss Marvel.
Miss
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah, probably her, man, because funny story with that one. Yeah, so she's like this little kid, man. And I didn't really watch Miss Marvel
Right.
when we were shooting the Marvels. I was coming into set in the morning and, you know, I just saw this little kid with coffees in her hand. And
I'm gonna Google her name while you're talking. So
she's Iman something. I forgot his surname. But yeah, she was coming in. I was coming in with coffees in my hand as well. But I had more. And she's like, she opened the door for me and she's like, good morning, you okay? It's like, you know, I spoke to her for about 5 minutes.
okay.
And I'm like, which department do you work for? Is it, you know, are you like in costume? And she's like, no, I'm an actor. I was like, which part do you play? It's like, I'm Miss Marvel. Oh my God.
Iman Vellani.
I wanted to fucking
She did really well. Bless her.
She's such a kind kid, honestly.
Yeah,
She's
but
so
it shows. It shows.
Most
She
of
did
the
really well.
actors, man, and most of the actors are really nice, and getting to watch them do what they do is insanely good, Like, you see these guys going from casual conversation into like flipping a fucking switch, and they're like in character, and it's so weird, man. It's so weird. When I saw Aaron Taylor Johnson, the guy that's doing Craven, before he shoots the scene, he starts fucking shouting and just fucking pulling on his hair, and it's like, getting into character. And if you see this guy doing that stuff out of context, you think he's a fucking lunatic or something, dude.
No, of course.
But the stuff, yeah.
Did you meet him as well? Did you actually?
We just spoke briefly with Aaron. I didn't have a lot of scenes that he was like directly, doing the stuff. But obviously, I was there, with most of the stuff that he did, but never really spoke to him.
Okay.
As much.
Who do you think was the most serious actor that you met? Like,
serious actor. That's a hard one, man, because they're all so serious about the stuff they do. They're all so passionate, man.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, actually. It's probably the bad guy from the Marvels.
You can't say who it is.
I can't remember who it is.
Dude, sure. Oh my God, what is it?
Yeah, she was pretty good and pretty well into her character. Yeah, pretty decent villain she's gonna be.
Who's the coolest one you met? Like,
coolest one, probably George Clooney, hands down.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, it's George Clooney, dude. Yeah, definitely George.
Who else have you met out of sheer interest?
Man, I met the guy from Squid Games.
Okay.
Player 456. His name is very hard to pronounce because it's Korean. Yeah, I've met that guy. I've met a lot of them, man. I met most of the guys from the Avengers, apart from Robert Downey Jr., which I've never seen before. I've met Samuel L. Jackson. That's a cool dude.
Oh yeah,
that's a cool dude to meet.
Jung Ho-yeon is Squid Games.
Yeah, that's the guy. So tall, dude. Like, and
yeah,
I was going into set specifically to meet him, kind of. Not to meet him, just to see him. You don't really mingle with, because it's such a professional environment when you're on set. You can't go all fanboy on it because you'll get just kicked out in an instant.
Really?
So, you probably wouldn't, but it's such a professional environment. You can't go up to them and ask them for pictures and stuff.
Yeah, but did you speak to him directly, or did you just?
Yeah, I spoke to him. I was actually eating a sandwich.
Did he call you a motherfucker?
No, yeah, I wish he would have. Yeah, I wish he would have, man.
Such an honor.
It would have been, yeah. The guy's like seriously, he's a tall dude, man. Scary looking motherfucker, actually.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson, eh?
Yeah, and he was in a Fury costume for like eye patch and yeah, just a cool dude, man. His voice is loud, bro.
My body's riddled with jealousy right now.
No, don't, man. I wouldn't be. It's it's nice, but
you know what, dude? I'm a big geek on Marvel and Star Wars.
I mean, you can probably get the gist of how passionately I speak about this stuff, and yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah. Good for you, man. That's awesome. It's such an awesome.
And honestly, I just do this that to prove to people that even as tiny as you are and as humble the beginning as you have, you can always get that little bit of luck and make it.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of luck is definitely there, but I think
you have to put in the work.
You have to put in.
Oh yeah,
you've obviously done so much work, and you've probably done more work than you think you did because you've loved doing it.
Oh, probably, yes. Yeah, 100%. For sure, man. I mean, I don't stop. I'm a massive workaholic, and this probably cost me relationships in the past, but I'm so proud of what I do, man. Like, just give it priority sometimes.
Do you see yourself doing it for the rest of your life?
Film? Probably not. Software?
No?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'll never say never, but I don't know. It does take a toll on you, kind of, mentally. But my dream now, because I know people think that, I'm at the top of my game, I've made it and stuff like that. But for me, it doesn't really feel that way. For me, it's just a job. I've reached a level, but now it's time for a new goal. And my ultimate goal is to, just run my own software company, which I am, heavily working on. That's it. So, yeah.
Talk to us about it. What are you doing?
So I'm basically in the process of launching 2 apps.
Okay.
One is GrowUp. So GrowUp has it started off actually as an internal tool in Marvel. This is what I meant earlier about being fucking proactive at your job, man. So when I went into Marvel, actually Netflix, I was still in Netflix. When I started there, apart from doing my motion control job, I started noticing stuff, starting seeing inefficiencies in the team, let's say. And in my free time, I wrote a piece of software that addresses these inefficiencies. And I went up to my boss and like, listen, I think there's like a better way of doing certain stuff, and I might have a piece of software that we can use internally, to simplify the process and make us more efficient, make it more streamlined and easier to use for us. And he's like, what do you have in mind? It's like, and I showed him software, and he's like, dude, this is fucking awesome, man. And basically what it does, it's just a digital purchase order system, where before they were filling all these little forms and, just by hand, and you have to hand them to the purchaser hands them to the supervisor for approval and stuff.
Okay.
So I just basically automated that whole process, and people can just do it on their phone. That goes over to the purchasers, they approve it, the boss approves it, they get purchased, everybody's happy, man. And you're keeping track of your purchase as well. So it got so popular that other crews started to use it as well within.
Okay.
So
we've got a bit of a Zuckerberg situation happening.
Yeah, so kind of like it started snowballing, this fucking internal tool, man. And I'm just basically building that into a monetized version SaaS product. And we're trying to push it into the UK film industry as a standard of, submitting.
So is it specific to the film industry? Do you think?
I think for now, it's more of a generic tool, man. Any small to medium-sized company can start using it. It does more than just digital purchase order. It just manages vacation leave, it manages calendars for your crew or employees or whatever you want to,
That's interesting.
So yeah, that's basically what it do. At the moment, it's going to be more pushed into the film industry because that's mainly where the interest lies. But yeah, it's a generic.
And obviously you have the network to build it as well.
Yes, and that too.
Do you have a team that's doing it for you, or is it just you?
No, just me. Just me on GrowUp, because just me on GrowUp. But my other venture, Piazza, it's me and another guy, Mark, a dear friend of mine, Greg. That's Piazza's so cool, man. It's such a cool concept. I don't really want to go too much into it because I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, and I would like to have Mark on here because he's also a friend.
Yeah,
of mine,
he's a pretty cool, interesting
we'll get him
dude. You'll probably have some pretty serious discussions with Mark. Yeah, he's
So the way you
he's less of a geek than I am.
Yeah.
But
the way you explain Piazza is a fresh, cool take on social platforms to help organizations connect with people.
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool, man.
So I'll ask you a few questions on it and I'll stop there.
Go for it.
So doesn't LinkedIn do that?
Yeah, but with a lot of, bloated ads and irrelevant content and insanely bad posts.
I agree. I think LinkedIn's algorithm is messed up.
It used to be so good, but now it's just so...
I think it's got too big.
Man.
And I think they've not changed
so bad.
the foundation of it.
So bad.
Okay. Very interesting.
I mean, it's still good for employment, but as far as consuming, knowledge and news, actual, really good news, no.
I feel that LinkedIn is like 95% of people tooting their own horn.
Yeah, and bots, bro. Bots. Oh my lord, so many bots.
How can you tell if it's a bot or not?
I couldn't really tell, but if you see an account posting like 6 times a day, different posts every day, it's probably a bot because nobody has that much free time on it.
And is that bot getting from ChatGPT as well, do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they scrape everything, man. They even scrape other websites and other posts from other people and just repost them on LinkedIn as if they were their own. It's just insanely bad. I'm pretty sure they're probably addressing the thing, but I'd be surprised if they're not because they're losing so many.
I think thinking about it, as when I remember when we announced the GrowUp podcast on LinkedIn, as soon as I opened the page, I got added by so many random people who are like, oh, we're a digital marketplace, marketing brand management
scammers,
company, whatever. Just all of them just sending me
insane amounts of scams on LinkedIn. Well, every social platform really. So yeah, that's kind of what Piazza is trying to solve. No advertising on Piazza. So you're only going to get relevant content that you actually want to see.
So how does it make money?
The making money part is through white labeled versions of the product.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So basically, you can think of Piazza as...
Stop there for a second, because I know-ish what a white label means. So explain to the viewers, what is a white label software?
So when you buy white labeled software, you buy the software and then you just basically use your branding colors and your logo and you make it your own, as if you own, that software, a version of it. So yeah, That's what Piazza makes you, have. If you ever wanted to open up your own Facebook, you can just do it on Piazza with a couple of clicks and you'll have your own logo, your own login system, walls, chat. It's a very, very good social tool.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds...
Yeah, if you get Mark on, he'll...
Like that, so.
Yeah, there's nothing like it, bro. That's why that's a really good, interesting product. And the thing is, man, I've worked in a lot of companies over the years, and most of them have their own little, social networking tool, kind of, which, probably 2 developers spent 2 weeks building and they never bothered to update because the company doesn't want to invest in it. I've seen a lot of them tools, and they have all one thing in common: they all suck, man. They all suck balls. So yeah, with Piazza, you can just spawn your own local version, white labeled version of a social network, and you can have it. And you can have it, in the cloud. You can have it installed locally, and you and your employees can consume news about your company. Have chats, have everything. I mean, there's tools, like Slack and stuff that do it, but not as socially as we do.
Not very well. A lot of companies use Slack or SharePoint to manage them.
Yeah. Teams as well as, Teams has gotten really popular lately, but nobody has an actual, with feature parity with Facebook social wall kind of thing, And I think that will be a major factor in driving, just conversations and just, general socializing, but, inside your company.
When I saw Teams the first time, I remember I was like, oh, this is just Discord.
It's so corporate, man.
It's Discord, but it's just less functionalities than Discord.
Yeah, exactly that.
Discord's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Discord is insanely good, man.
It's such a good app.
Yeah, it's so good. And we do have the Discord aspect of the app. That will be the chat. But then you'll have, the social walls. You'll have events and stuff like that. Discord is more targeted towards chat but obviously, Discord can do a lot, dude. Their API is probably the best, most extensible API I've ever seen.
And it's very smooth, right, to use, given all the stuff it has and all the sharing capabilities.
I'll send you a good video of how they got to that point, because it wasn't always that smooth.
I mean, you being a gamer as well, right? You remember the old Ventrilo and TeamSpeak days, and all of a sudden Discord came and just destroyed them.
Of course, because it was free, revolutionary, and was good to use. It was just generally, it looked gamery,
Yeah.
It's just, they hit a home run with Discord. No wonder they got the
and they just came off seed nowhere.
They got.
Yeah.
No wonder, man. Yeah. I'm so happy for the guys and all the team at Discord that built it, because
and they do well. They just
keep doing good stuff, man. Yeah.
We use it for the podcast. That's how we work.
Discord, it started off as kind of a gamery kind of software, but I know big companies that use it as their own internal socializing tool. I even proposed it for my team at Marvel to start, using it, and we sometimes do as well. To keep track of stuff, I've built a little API that integrates with Discord and does specific tasks.
That's the thing. It's so easy to integrate other stuff.
Yeah, it's so good, man. It's so easy to build stuff and tools on top of it. It's just nice, and it's free.
Discord sponsor us. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's insane that you're still working for Marvel, right? Technically, so you're just waiting for the writer's strike now to.
Yeah, this writer's strike, man.
Is it heading anywhere? I heard there was some.
Yeah, it's probably gonna end soon, dude. I mean, these guys are losing hundreds of thousands. There's sets, that are built and not being used. They're still paying rent for the studio, and for the studios. So, yeah, I think in the long run, this strike, yes, it boned almost every person inside the movie industry. But I think in the long run, it's going to be good for the movie industry, because what they're fighting for is authenticity, where you won't have freaking AIs writing scripts. And, if you just have that, then there's no human element to the storyline, man.
Do you
And
think that will ever be the case?
that is
with
already the
AI?
case. There's already a film almost, in pre-production now. The script was entirely written by AI.
But is it just because it's an experiment because they wanted to do it?
Probably. I hope it's a bad experiment, because if it's a good one, then
Well, it will.
That's where
People will watch it just because it's the first one to do it.
Yeah.
But I think,
Likely,
for
yeah.
me, AI is just the same. Like, you still need somebody to input into the AI currently.
well, we all do, dude. Anytime anybody searches something on Google, anytime you look up something on Amazon, eBay, Facebook, whatever, man, we're all building this freaking
Yeah,
AI,
that's
man.
true.
If you think about it, collectively, the world is, we're all feeding this freaking thing, all our information, all our data, all the stuff we're interested, all the stuff we like doing,
What are your thoughts on AI as in terms of, so I'm sure you've heard of the dangers of AI and all that. So what are your thoughts?
I don't think there's any danger of AI, no, especially not, for probably like hundreds of years. And it's never going to go to the point as, like fucking Terminator,
Yeah.
Skynet kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think. I think AI is a really good tool. I think it's already proven its worth, especially in the medical sector.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely up there with the most revolutionary pieces of software we've ever invented. And I think this is just the start. Yes, it's disrupted a lot of industries, 100%. It's made people redundant. But unfortunately, sometimes that's the cost of, progress. I think it just needs to be regulated just a little tiny bit, because if it keeps snowballing as it is, it's going to make a lot of people redundant, dude.
But when you regulate something like AI,
It's kind of hard.
apart from it being hard, but let's say it isn't hard, let's say it is doable, right? Isn't it the same as you're regulating the internet? Because when you're regulating
Yeah.
an information channel, because I think AI is an information channel, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right?
Yeah.
Can you then not manipulate the information that people get to see?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's probably already manipulated, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The good thing about it is that you can detect it, because there were tons of students in Harvard, of all places, that wrote their theses just using ChatGPT. So now, I believe MIT is creating software to just battle that, so it can detect fake content. But unfortunately, then there's the other guys on the other side that's building tools to take all the output from the AI and turn it into, like paraphrase it into human, kind of like if a human wrote it. So
Oh yes,
it's like this ongoing back and forth battle, man. So yeah, I know it's probably going to be really hard to do it. I think it's already been, like, the progress it's been doing, it's kind of slowed down that little bit, but progress is still being made, and it's only getting better and better and better, because I've seen AIs do some pretty clever shit, man. I've seen aerospace engineers have, like, parts for an aeroplane, and they feed it into the AI, and they give it like, okay, I've got this anchor point and this anchor point and this anchor point. Whatever you put in between them, I don't care. Just give me the most efficient version of this part. And it basically spat out this, like, organic looking. So if you watch Midnight Sky and
I will.
you note the spaceship in Midnight Sky, it's basically built upon the same concept as if an AI generated and built this 3D printed spaceship. So you'll note that most of the spaceship structure looks and seems organic, but that's done to a purpose, because it's less material and more strength. So the part that, Lockheed Martin came up with, this AI, is 30% lighter and like 20% stronger. So this is what I mean about AI is going to help us be better, build better, be more efficient, solve more of our problems.
Okay.
I know for a fact AI has been revolutionary in the medical industry, especially in cancer research. Yeah, I think it'll go a long ways.
I mean, it already is. I don't.
I think it already is.
Even integration in certain apps with
Yeah,
AI and
yeah,
chatbots.
yeah.
have,
Oh man,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's just
definitely. I mean, I have. Have you heard of local GPT? So
No.
yeah, local GPT is basically Chat GPT, but you install it on your machine, scans all your hard drives, all your photos, or whatever, and you just basically chat with your computer and tell her, or him, I don't know. It's an it. It's an it.
It's gender fluid.
I know. Yeah, it depends on what you like.
Yeah.
So listen, I need a photocopy of my ID. I'm pretty sure I had one in my computer somewhere. She'll scan it. Boom. There's your photocopy.
Shit, really?
She scans all your PDFs. I'm like, I had a PDF somewhere on my PC and I spoke about this thing. Could you find it for me? There it is.
Dude.
You know? So it's like your own personal assistant, yeah? It saves you so much time sifting through hours and hours of code. So I've got so many.
I'm getting this.
Man,
You
I've got
don't-
so many. It's called
don't-
local GPT. I've got so many software projects on my hard drives and like on my backup drives and stuff. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I wrote this function at some point in my life. Could you find it for me? It's like, I had no idea if it's going to work or not. Man, she found it.
It's true.
I keep calling it she, but I don't know.
Is there not an inherent risk though that this local GPT connects into a server and maybe, so for example, someone
Oh yeah,
like you that
100%. Yeah. But so
NDA tied, you've got NDA tied code, right?
I took the extra step of actually blocking its internet access, but it's fairly safe because otherwise people would have caught it by now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fairly safe. But yeah, there's always that inherent risk. But that's in everything, man. Like any piece of software that you download is, you know,
People
has
that
its own
don't
risks, man.
understand.
I mean, people exploited like JavaScript, man, just simple
Yeah.
browser JavaScript to browse people's webcams. And
which is
yeah.
what I was going to say. People that don't have a background in technology or IT don't understand how easy it is to get hacked.
oh man,
It's like so simple.
should I tell you how easy it is, man? Just go into Google search and type in title, : and try WebEx and just search for that. And it'll come up with all of the IPTV unsecured endpoints that are using WebEx as their interface. And you could just go into, random people's cameras because, it's unsecure. So, yeah, secure your IPTV portals, people, because, yeah, there's some pretty weird shit going on out there. It's insane, man. And I can sit here and talk on hours about social hacking and stuff. It's everywhere. Scammers, it's an epidemic of scamming at the moment. It's like most of the time you get messaged by the
There's
scammer.
always going to be
Yeah, it's insane.
fraud. It used to be over the phone
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
the early 2000s.
yeah. The Nigerian Prince email.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that one. It's crazy.
Um,
Nowadays they just shifted over to fucking Instagram and
And there's a lot of ransomware nowadays.
yeah,
A lot of ransomware,
yeah.
which is getting worse and worse. But I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. How do you go from working from Marvel and now working on your own thing and keeping the same level of job satisfaction?
You don't. You don't, man. It is what it is. It's exactly this. I don't imagine myself doing it for the rest of my life, but I'll probably never have as cool a job. I mean, yeah, I love doing software, but doing it there, doing, the stuff. I mean, who can say they go to work in the morning and, build a fucking 2-story space shuttle and, move it and just program it and just, it's just cool, man.
And meeting George Clooney and
It's just, and meeting the actors and, like I said, just the professional environment. Yeah, you don't. It's very hard to one-up that. What to one-up that for me is probably having an app which will reach, I don't know, 200,000 users and, or something like that. That's
200,000?
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll reach.
I'd say 200,000.
Knowing you?
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be a good bulk. I'm trying to keep it real, 200,000 would be really, really good client base, even
Okay.
much less than that, really.
Because you're B2B, right? So you're...
Yeah, exactly. Even much less than that, I just want to build a successful product, and that's actually my dream. I want to build a successful product that helps people and, just make that work. And I'm pretty sure when I do that, there's going to be something else that pops into my fucking mind because I'm always thinking and just
What are you gonna do
thinking
next?
constantly, man. Just my mind never stops. It's just always racing with thoughts and ideas and stuff. So that's another challenge. Is like you get so many ideas, but which ones do you execute? Which ones do you actually spend time doing? So you have to be a little bit wise. But I found that asking for help does help. I was a bit of a loner, kind of like I always wanted to do stuff myself because I wanted perfect, you know. So I always did it on my own because I knew I would do it perfectly. But yeah, just ask for help. You'll be surprised how much, you know, people are willing to help and, you know, give a helping hand. And also, it's really good to have other people's input on what you're doing, because sometimes you're focused on building something and it's fucking flawed and you don't see it. It's right in front of you. You know, the flaw is right in front of you, but you don't see it. And this one time I was building a piece of software, and you know, for me it was like amazing. It was like it was an iterator thing. It looked through files, got metadata from the files and stuff. And this junior dev came in and it's like, "Oh, it's never gonna work." Like, why? It's like, "You got a memory leak over there." It's like, "No, I've tested it." It's like, "No, for sure, man. Try 200,000 files and see." You know, and this was a junior dev, and that like really hit home. Is like, yeah, you have to get other people's opinion on anything you do.
Take
really,
a step back.
you know, not just in software, man. You have to, and you have to take constructive criticism well. I think the worst kind of person you could be to grow is a person that doesn't take constructive criticism well, because sometimes people take it way too personal, I think. And when people try to help you, just, you know, just say thank you. That's what I would say.
Feedback's a gift, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I think we talked about it last episode as well, or the episode before, where if somebody's taking their time to give you feedback about something,
Just
like,
say thank you. Don't go all fucking defensive on me, right?
There's no point in getting defensive, because all you're doing is just stopping that person from giving you feedback again. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've worked with people like that, and I'm just like, okay, and I will never give them feedback, or I will actively avoid giving them.
Yeah, exactly. Then you know, you're not gonna get any more feedback because everybody's gonna fucking hate you.
Exactly.
That's exactly it.
If nobody's giving you feedback, that's a bad sign.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
That's a bad sign.
man. I live on constructive criticism, and I absolutely love it because I try to be a perfectionist. Nobody's really perfect. I try to, and that's the only way you would ever, you know, almost reach perfection is when people use your stuff and you know, they correct you on some stuff. And
I don't have any more questions. You've gone through so much in so little time. How long we've been doing it for 2 hours?
Honestly, man, I just love sharing.
I looked up at Lynn. I was like, we're doing it for 2 hours, right? Yeah.
2 hours?
Yeah.
That was 2 hours?
Yeah.
Man, that felt like that went by fast.
What's the time? Lynn, what's the time we're on? 1:42, almost 2 hours.
That's decent, that.
Right. It's the second longest.
So yeah, I just hope that I can inspire somebody, man. And if anybody wants to reach out, if you have questions, if you want to, you know, get started into software, if you want, you know, guides, reach out, man. I'm more than happy to help people. That's my whole point, is I want to inspire people to just, you know, just get into software and just be better and, you know, try to better themselves and their lives as well, because, you know, the pay is no secret, man. It's really good, and it's a good industry to get into.
Really good pay, and it's also, I think it just keeps you sharp mentally as well, right? Because it just gives you that you look at things differently. I have very, 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 very basic knowledge of software, but it's really helped me just in general.
Yeah,
like even using Excel. Like some people be like, "Oh, you're so good at Excel." I was like, "It's just basic."
And even like it helps you cheat as well in your job. Like I had a job. This was before I went into software. I had a job and they gave me like tons of Excel sheets. I had to sift through everything. And I'm like 5 minutes into it, like, fuck this, dude. So I just basically wrote a piece of software that automated the job, and I did it in like fucking 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just good, man. It's fun. It's really fun.
In my old job, they used to give me a big task for spreadsheets, and I'd be like, I got 5 days to do it, and I'm like, I'll just do it in 2 hours, and then just chill for 5 days and do nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, I did my job, so
it's done. There you go. Just 2 formulas, a couple of VLOOKUPs, and we're done.
Yeah.
You know. No, that's awesome
stuff.
Before we wrap up, I asked this question on all of my episodes, I think except episode 1, because I didn't ask. I'm not sure if I asked Ben. Did I ask Ben the last question? Don't remember. I'll watch episode 1. We'll see. I don't think I did. But I've asked it for every other guest so far, which is if you have to give one message for the whole world, what would it be?
Just be kind, man. Just be nice. Be nice in general. It's free. You know? Like, just be nice. Just be a good person.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Yes. Like Dan said, don't be an asshole. That's exactly what I would say. That goes a long fucking way, man. Honestly, it goes a long way. Just being generally a nice person just makes you look good, you know, just makes people want to be around you, you know, and it's free. You know, it's just, just be nice. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Matthew Pulis, it has been...
Dude, thank you for having me. It's been
Yeah,
amazing. I didn't even like see that time fly by, man. It was so
telling you, it's
fun. I could do another hour, you know?
Yeah, I could definitely. I think I would have delved more into other stuff with you as well.
Yeah.
I think that would have taken us.
Yeah, maybe on the next
more
one, man.
I'll have you back again.
Maybe
Listen,
on
I'll
the
have you back when you have
More films to talk about?
Crew Hub.
Yeah.
No, when you have Crew Hub and Piazza ready to launch. I'll get you and
100%,
Mark
yeah.
together and we'll
Yeah.
get a bit of a promo together.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
We'll
cool.
do that.
Cheers, dude.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on.